What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Back with my original segment, Boxing Ego's First Look. If you're new to the channel, First Look is a sneak peek, a preview of a fight before the fight. Give you guys some tail of the tape and some little facts before the fight and let you know what to expect in that fight. Less opinion, more facts. Now, let's talk about it. Keith "One-Time" Thurman versus Showtime Shawn Porter. Bravo. I first got to start by saying shout out and salute to both of these fighters. They are two top, premier, in prime, youthful, strong welterweights, and they've agreed to go at it. There has been a little bit of a roadblock in making this fight, but the fight is almost here. At one point, the negotiations, they were saying the fight could happen December 2015. That didn't work. Then it got scheduled for March. Keith Thurman got in a car accident, got pushed back, and Shawn Porter had like a little exhibition fight in between. Now both fighters are pretty much concluded with their training camps, and we're getting the fight this weekend, and it's a great fight. Guys like Mayweather and Pacquiao are retired, so we have to go off of what they say. We need to know what welterweights are going to carry that torch from here on out with those guys retired, the veterans, the guys like Cotto. He's kind of moved up and he's ending his chapter soon. I mean, he's at the tail end of his career. So we want to know what champions to look out for in the welterweight division, which happens to be stacked. And this is a meaningful fight that really helps to shape that division. There's been some back talk about what happened in previous sparring sessions and things like that. But at the end of the day, none of that matters, because you can learn in years that when they actually sparred, they sparred years ago. So it's going to be an interesting fight to watch just to see what each fighter has learned, because you look at it, a couple years ago Shawn Porter was almost struggling with Julio Diaz. He had a draw with Julio Diaz, if I'm not mistaken, and then he rematched and then he convincingly beat him. But that's still part of Shawn Porter's pedigree. So that was only a few years ago. Same thing with Keith Thurman. I remember when I first started seeing him on HBO, he had the power, he showed the power, but when he was fighting guys like Laura and things like that, he looked a bit wild. Even Jesus Soto Caras clipped him, and it was because he was a little bit more gung-ho with the whole KOs for life, and he's worked on his technique immensely, where he actually developed some better fundamentals since that time. So it'll be interesting to see what both fighters have learned since the amateur days, since the sparring days and things that happened years ago. Now let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Shawn Porter has a near perfect record, 26-1-1. His sole loss is to Kell Brook. Again, that draw is to Julio Diaz. He had a tough competitive fight and scored a draw in that fight. Keith Thurman currently is undefeated with a record of 26-0. So as you guys can see, they've had almost about the same amount of pro level fights. Keith Thurman has a perfect blemish-free record. Age, very close again. This is why these guys met in the amateurs. Shawn Porter is currently 28 years old, while Keith Thurman is 27, so just a year discrepancy. Very evenly matched. Same thing with the height. Shawn Porter is listed at 5'7", and Keith Thurman is listed at 5'7.5". Very, very close. Not a huge disparity there. The weight is taking place at 147, the true welterweight, so I'm glad there's no catch weight. Both fighters won it at the actual true welterweight division of 147. And again, you look at the reach, very close. The shorter man, Shawn Porter, has a ½ inch in terms of reach. He has a 69.5 inch reach to Keith Thurman's 69 inch reach. Very, very, I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. Very, very evenly matched. You got two guys who are friends, who have to put their friendship aside, who have experience fighting each other, be it the amateurs, be it sparring. You got guys who were still, like, even in Shawn Porter's sole loss, it's not like he was just getting knocked out and things of that sort. He was in a competitive fight with Kell Brook, where I thought Kell Brook won and the judges did as well. But it's not like he was just getting demolished out there. Like, you look at, let's say, Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo, that was more of an embarrassing loss than the Shawn Porter or Kell Brook. Even though Shawn Porter lost his belt, it was semi-competitive, and it started off rough for Kell Brook. He had a cut and things like that. So this is just a good fight, very evenly matched. You got guys who really want to push forward to get to the next level. Shawn Porter feels with that blemish, he maybe has something to prove, and he wants to show that he's a top welterweight. Same thing with Keith Thurman. He wants to remain perfect, get fights with other people like maybe a Kell Brook, Jesse Vargas winner. The sky is the limit for the winner, and I feel like the winner will truly be recognized as the best welterweight. Of course, you got Kell Brook there versus Jesse Vargas, but it's not as meaningful. Even though it's a unification, I feel like the consensus with fans would be this would be more meaningful based on those fighters. Jesse Vargas is a good fighter. He did win a vacant belt, so he is currently a champion, but that will pretty much be his first title defense, and is going in against a big dog like Kell Brook. So Kell Brook should open up as a favorite. Not to mention Jesse Vargas, he only has a few fights at welterweight, versus you look at Porter Thurman, these guys have plenty of fights at welterweight. Not to mention between their amateur or maybe even pro career, they fought higher than 147. Shawn Porter as an amateur, so years ago when he was maybe 18, was fighting at 165 pounds. And Keith Thurman even scored a knockout at a catch weight of, I think it was 153 versus Carlos Quintana as a pro. So these guys are clearly big, strong welterweights, and it just makes for a compelling fight. Not taking anything away from the Brook versus Vargas fight, but I think most fans would have to agree this is just one of those fights that's a real pick'em fight, and I've seen it with the predictions that are out there. People are really split. You also got guys like Earl Spence Jr. He looks like the truth, just like his nickname suggests, but he's still working on his path and getting the proper bodies and compiling the resume. So in terms of guys with experience and things like that, this is the fight to look out for. Let me know what you guys think. That is the tale of the tape. Boxing Eagles first look, Thurman Porter this weekend. The only setback is Abner Mares versus Jesus Cuellar is no longer on the card. There were some medical issues on behalf of Abner Mares, so that fight got scrapped. Very unfortunate. I was looking forward to that fight, but at least we still have the main event intact finally. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.